Hello, and we are back for the men's gold medal match here. I don't think anybody could have predicted these teams in the final. We have Hex against Misfits. What a match, a true underdog story, going from 11th seed after round robin to making a final. Misfits have had upset after upset after upset, and they are here. They could win it all on home turf. The first team, aside from Outsiders, winning a title at the Thing Championships. On the other side, Hex, definitely a giant of American Dodgeball, and one of the giants being Andrew Ketchum on the right hand.
Yep, one of the giants for sure.
Hex are definitely looking to take this home with them and maybe spark a little bit of a rejuvenation season and carry this into Nationals and other Premier Tour rounds.
And we're off. Aggressive opening rush from Hex from the get-go.
Cody with a big hit off the rush. Cam Parkey's going to spend on Brandon Officer. No connection. Your starting roster for Hex from left to right. We have Gage Young, Aaron Goodwin, Cam Parkey, Cody Trulio, Aaron Felton, and Andrew Ketchum.
And Hex not in the top four in our seeding from round robin, so this is not necessarily an underdog story on their end, but not necessarily what we'd expect by the seeding.
Yeah, definitely. The Rushdown podcast had a prediction competition recently before the Thing, and I don't think anybody's winning that cash prize because I don't think anybody had Misfits in their top three or Hex in the top. Well, a lot of people had Hex actually in the top three. Cody Trulio, good throw out of the middle.
Good target to take out early. John Bell can cause a lot of problems, and it looks like they're aware of that.
John Bell is one of those players who are really slept on. The arm isn't the biggest, and he doesn't look like he can move as well as he does, but he's so smart, and he knows the game so well, and he's been so instrumental closing big matches against Hardest Foam and Elite to get this Misfits squad to the final.
John likes to thrive in the chaotic space, but everything he does is calculated. Misfits has a pattern that they kind of work around John Bell, so if you can take him off the court, it can shift Misfits' intent.
Definitely. And with their left and right corner, we have two American superstars here. I definitely know that Brandon Officer was at Worlds this year,
playing
won
with the mixed
silver with the mixed team. I don't know if Jordan Williams was ever activated.
Jordan was not activated. I believe he did make the I don't even think he made a practice squad. He was at the combine. I know that much.
But Jordan Williams, definitely a big arm on this team. Very, very accurate, and he does survive pretty well. So these players being able to work around John Bell are, we got a squad here, man, sleeper squad.
We absolutely do. Both of these teams are well built, and that is really the shift. If John Bell gets out, you shift to the corners. You got Brandon and Jordan working together trying to maintain defense, allowing the team to play out of the middle for offense.
Brandon Officer is going to what a pop-up grab. Cody Trulio.
Excellent.
Jordan Williams surviving three. And he's going to have all balls to spend. Andrew Ketchum gets tagged out. It's a very good target. Fastest throw in the world out of that huge, huge boy in their right corner.
Oh.
Cam Parkey dives forward, misses it.
I couldn't see that. Okay, refs call it. That was down.
Ref Kalen Estabrooks is calling a bounce here.
Jordan gets 2 early outs. Now he has to pace himself.
2 early outs. Very, very risky play. Going up to the line, trusts his defense. Very solid.
Sweeping that ball can be critical, though. That may have well been worth it.
Oh. Jordan Williams does get tagged out by 2 here. Hex are going to go up 1-0.
Tough to be ready for Hex at any time. They're willing to just rush you as a team. You really don't have time to think. That's one of their strategies, I imagine,
Hex,
just to outrun your opponent.
Hex, with the addition of Aaron Goodwin, number 3, and Dan Holzer, number 91 on their side, really adds to the pace. Like, you have Andrew Ketchum playing their right corner, Gage Young playing their left. That is a very, very fast attack, especially when Ketchum, he doesn't even have to run up super fast, but with his 80-plus, it's the fastest throw in the world. You barely have time to react, even if he's at 45 or 50 feet.
Mm-hmm. And the players between them kind of learn how to play at that style. We saw that in the last sequence. The player that just threw, number 10.
John Bell
13.
with the catch. Takes out Cody Trulio, who I think definitely complements Andrew Ketchum very well. He plays a role that I like to play on Mavericks, which is really good at baiting balls, letting Andrew Ketchum eat up like that. Big hit on Jordan Williams by Andrew Ketchum from 50 feet.
And exactly what I was pointing at, Trio, he's great at posturing himself in the middle at that pace. They'll get up to the front line, control the court, allow their players to throw, and then he'll posture in a way that sets up back-end catches. It's really difficult to deal with because you want to respond to it, but you have to be disciplined in how you counter.
Yes.
It makes you second-guess what you're doing. And when you already don't have time to think, that makes guessing.
Yes. I've played Andrew Ketchum a bunch, and his throw, you just kind of have to guess. And you definitely want to move, because if he's on target, it's going to fucking hurt.
Oh, we've seen that movement all weekend. I've been standing behind some of those throws, and, man, the movement he's got on is superb, and then he's doing it in multiple different ways.
Yes. Andrew Ketchum has an elite throw arsenal, just like Brandon Officer. Officer has one of the most disgusting two seams that I've ever seen in dodgeball. If you watch that ball come out of his arm, look at how hard that breaks.
If Ketchum is speed, Brandon's precision, but they both have a combination. Neither is lacking in either category.
Big 4v3 now. Dan Holzer, the Canadian, gets tagged out here.
Woo. Misfits working as a team. That's what got him here.
Aaron Goodwin, solid throw on Brandon Officer. Big tailing throw on Felton. And Brandon Officer's throw is so useful, especially against players like Felton, who can make those grabs.
Felton's one of those sleepers. I've played with him in the past, and situations like that don't normally go that way. That's Aaron's strength. He's poised, he's always waiting, always ready, and it's easy to underestimate what he's capable of. Vincent able to put enough movement on that ball in order to get it away from his hands.
Ketchum is going to spend two.
Ooh, Brandon playing high on the line. Ketchum eyeing him.
Aaron Goodwin and Brandon Officer lining up against each other. Neither connect. Going for a little trade here. Officer, good move by Ketchum. Ooh.
I like the discipline we're seeing from Ketchum. I've known him and seen him play for a number of years, and it's good to see him show that discipline when it counts.
Definitely, because with an arm like his, if you had that, you'd want to be throwing all the time.
It's hard to be disciplined when you can throw like Andrew Ketchum.
But when you're disciplined and people don't really know when the ball is coming out of your hand, and they can't begin to expect that it's going to come out of your hand every single time, deadly.
Yep.
It's more effective than when you just rip every ball.
It's one thing to be a very good thrower. It's another to condition your opponent to not knowing when you're ready to throw that well. That's what makes a player exceptional, in my opinion.
Lots of throws exchanged on the opening. 2 out for Misfits here. Andrew Ketchum tries to go down for a grab. Holzer makes a catch on John Bell.
A heartbreaker of a catch. It may not have been intentional, but he postured well for it, got underneath it, and that's how it stuck.
Canadian national champion showing him how it's done. Jordan Williams is off the court now, too. Ketchum reaches far out for a grab, but he doesn't get it.
Gerard, final player in. He's a lefty. I don't know if Hex is keen about that. He may be able to use that to his advantage.
Comes
going
very high to the line.
Yeah, making me nervous.
Outside swing on Gage. If I'm playing, honestly, I don't know who my target would be. The wings with the balls in hand are so difficult to hit. Cody Trulio is going to probably look to rush.
Well, yeah.
And you have Cam Parkey, Dan Holzer. These guys can make grabs.
Yeah, any hit's a good hit. I'd say Gerard's playing it well by keeping his distance and allows him to throw anyone he wants. If he presses high, it's probably better to throw towards one of those corners so that he can pin them in the transition. If he doesn't, he'll get rushed down for it. Just like that.
Just like that. Takes out Cody Trulio, which is a good player to take because he's going to rush like that, and Gage Young finishes him off. Hex, 3-0. Very dominant so far. But Misfits have come back a couple times in this tournament. This could happen again.
They need to tighten up the teamwork, figuring out how to survive against a very strong throwing team. That's going to be the challenge, and if they can't get ahead of it, it's going to make it very hard to win this match. Ooh, Jordan with the hands.
Jordan Williams, cold, stone cold with the catch on Cam Parkey. Big cross court. It's what he does. He gets momentum. Very different. Oh, Brandon Officer with the in-swinging ball on Ketchum.
That's high-level execution, and that is what Misfits is good at. They know how to execute when they need a player off the court.
Especially with Brandon Officer, not many players know how to control their tail as well as him. He has just such insane accuracy for someone who has just such unpredictable and insane tail on his ball.
Ooh.
Again, blows my mind, that tail.
Yeah, and his ability to survive while throwing that way, for a player his size, it's difficult to be that agile and that survivable throughout a match. He tends to struggle with that largely because teams target him. They're often throwing 2 balls at him, but he's unafraid of the one-on-one. So he's willing to get up there, be in your face, throw the ball, and then still shift and dodge.
I've had the pleasure of sharing the court with this Misfits squad, and it's very, very difficult to say that Brandon Officer isn't an elite player in every aspect. Just like that, he takes out Cody Trulio, and he's able to get out of the way.
John taking another shot at the guy that caught him in the last set, so I like how bold they are right now.
John Bell survives off that counter, I believe. Set by Dan Holzer in the chest. Brandon Officer caught by Dan Holzer.
That one wasn't on accident, was it?
All hands right there. Cam Parkey pushing up. John Bell trying to bait in a ball. He gets one. Felton, very close quarters. John Bell needs to be connecting there.
Yeah, Misfits still has control here. They just need to calm themselves. They know what they're doing.
Misfits with a big lead for the first time in this game. They're warming up into it. This is a huge final. It's a catch. Pop up.
They cover the pop-up. Josue McIntyre is a last-minute addition to this team. He actually helps lead and captain a team called Berserk, which is up and coming in Seattle, and he's living for the moment right now. That's awesome to see.
You'd be very familiar with that Berserk squad, wouldn't you?
I am. I've been fortunate enough to play with Misfits and Berserk over the last year.
Yes, there's the John Bell we know, isn't it?
This is why it's fun to watch this team play. They're dynamic.
Such a sleeper team. Out of nowhere, they get a bit of momentum. Looks like Felton's going to go for a grab. I think Andrew Ketchum is the first one in.
I believe so. I mean, it's fortunate Misfits has played this the way they have. The mistakes they're making haven't been terrible because they've gotten the big outs and kept them out.
Oh, Jordan Williams, the biggest arm on the court, tagged out. They're going to need to send 2, maybe even 3 to hit Felton out without him having a chance at a grab. A grab could be very, very bad for this Misfits
This is
side.
what Felton is good at. And, I mean, he's so easy to underestimate next to other players, but he's an incredibly good late-game player. He's got a poise to counter and use that to his advantage to create catching opportunities, and it's just a handful to deal with. I imagine he's going to eat a lot of time off the clock playing this set, even in a 4-on-1.
As I said earlier, very good honesty from Felton here. Misfits, first point in the game, roars from the crowd as the Seattle local team is going to take the first point in this match. As I said earlier, I had the pleasure of playing with Misfits back in January, and very recently I also got to play with Hex, so I'm quite familiar with both of these
And then
squads.
you got to play against them both in this tournament. You get everything. I'm not jealous. Good pressure from Struzik to cover.
Good cross from Cam Parkey, who's taking over the left wing for this Hex side.
A little complacent on the defensive side of the ball there for Misfits. You don't want to let players cross in on your team, especially when you have 5, 6 players still on the court.
Yeah, especially when it's a deep cross like that from Cam Parkey, who isn't their biggest arm, but you need to have your head up and be expecting crosses from this team. Big hit. John Bell on Andrew Ketchum. We were just talking about this guy. So smart, knows when to throw the ball, knows when to hold. That is why Misfits is in the final right here. John Bell's such an instrumental player.
It's one of my favorite parts about Dodgeball is that back and forth between players like Andrew Ketchum, these giants that can just missile the ball, and these players that are just dynamic and shifty and able to create opportunities with their size. It's
big hops from Jordan. Oh my God, so many players exchanged here. Cage Young, Dan Holzer, and Aaron Goodwin left on the court right now. 3 left for Misfits as well. Their second biggest arm is still on the court in Jordan Williams.
That ball just broke away from Goodwin's legs as he was floating in the air there. Guy's got hops.
The thing about this competition especially is all of these teams can beat anybody, as Misfits has proven. Nobody expected them to be here, and they are fighting for it. They're going to grind out, whether it's a loss or a win. They definitely have the potential to finish this game and get a result that they like.
Yeah, I'd like to see them try to use Gerard a little bit from this corner, see if they can get a cross in on the opposite side. Ooh. Looks like Hex is trying to do the same thing.
Gage Young with a big cross.
Jordan might have to put a little pressure on him and keep that off of Gerard. It's hard for a lefty.
Aaron Goodwin tagged out. Who tagged him out? Was that John Bell again?
I believe so.
Was that John Bell?
Who is that guy? What's his number? Is that a dragon? He's confident.
Big throw at Dan Holzer straight at the commentary area. Oh! And he catches Williams on the cross. Holzer brings back Ketchum.
Oh,
John
by
Bell
John.
alone.
Shifty,
Oh,
though.
wow. The shiftiness of John Bell gets him out of it. Straight into the pocket. Hex up 4-1.
He knew it as soon as he threw it. It's a tough opportunity not to take, though. I think he was right to throw the ball. That's what makes dodgeball hard. You have to make a perfect throw in a split second.
It wasn't a bad take, maybe a bad spot. Dan Holzer is known for those grabs.
Yep.
But, you know, the beautiful thing about this sport is that you have people who oh, that is a
Big false start.
false start. Jeez.
It's getting a little noisy in here. Vincent might be getting antsy.
A lot of people on this court you wouldn't think are your traditional athletes, but they have their own gifts in this sport. Like, it's beautiful to see players like Andrew Ketchum go up against players like John Bell or Brandon Officer, who looks a lot slower than he is. And they have fantastic abilities. John Bell, great take again. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Out of the middle, he's putting the work in. Officer on Gage Young.
Here comes Ketchum.
Oh, yeah, John
That
Bell.
outside break. That is a dirty throw used to perfect execution.
That's why you need to keep your head up. That caused a double right there. And the break from Officer's throw.
Uh-oh. Misfits needs to control their defense here. They're being really aggressive, but that's Hex's game. Doesn't mean you can't beat him at it, but it's a challenge for sure.
Big throw from the middle. Cody with the hops.
Brandon gets away with that.
Brandon with the quick release and just there's something about his release that he can just hop out of the way of those throws.
Jordan needs to make sure he keeps the ball in hand. He passed one over to the left side before he had another one secured, and Ketchum saw that opportunity and took it. Fortunate to get out of there alive.
Jordan Williams. Oh! Jordan Williams. The amount of times I've seen him make that grab in that little shoulder pocket area by your pec and in between like your shoulder, bicep, and pec. That area is his favorite catching place.
That stoic
Brandon
muscle
Officer.
memory. Oh my goodness.
And the two biggest arms on Misfits.
They're throwing punches back and forth.
Both went for grabs. I don't know if that's the decision, especially when coming up against Ketchum.
I mean, it's hard to not, right? the guy's coming straight at you. You have a half second to think. It's hard to blame anyone for, just trying to make that play, especially for how big it can be. If you're trying to make a comeback and you can swing a catch on Ketchum like that can change everything.
Good movement by John Bell.
Ooh, I like the
Good
switch.
cross. Oh, it was in his hands, but he just couldn't keep it there.
It did stop the ball. Got both hands and got the momentum to stop and just couldn't get under it to clean up that catch. Now into a 2v2.
John Bell taken out. Big
Dirty.
cross. Wow.
Dirty little movement throw from Vincent. Likes to put top spin on it.
Aaron Goodwin jumped really, really early. If that throw went a little bit further, could have been dropped on his toes. Aaron Goodwin.
Oh, wow. Good teamwork there from Ketchum and Goodwin.
Big counter rush. Obviously, Goodwin is a native of Atlanta, I believe, and plays for Threat. He's putting in the work for this Arizona team, Hex.
I was going to ask. I'm not familiar or very familiar with Goodwin. It's good to know that he plays with Atlanta Threat because I know they've been playing a lot of dodgeball recently and getting some acclaim. I like that Hex is mixing it up and bringing in some players from around the country.
Yeah, obviously they have Dan Holzer from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Shout out to the boys out there. And I believe most of these guys are out of either Arizona or Los Angeles.
Yep.
Definitely the West. Yep, Arizona and California.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if the California players are concentrated in LA, but I imagine they are. I believe Cam Parkey's out of Arizona, along with Ketchum. And I think Aaron and Gage are both out of LA. I imagine Trio as well.
I actually believe Gage is out of Phoenix, Arizona. I was just with playing in Cactus Dodgeball recently.
Oh,
and,
he's out of Phoenix now.
Yeah, I believe, yeah.
Has he always been out of Phoenix? Am I crazy?
I wouldn't know that. I haven't been playing long enough.
I feel like I might have just associated him to LA and been wrong. I could very well be wrong. I've seen him playing for years now. I know he's been competing to get on the Team USA, and he was successful this last run, I believe.
Yeah, winning silver with the mixed squad, I believe.
A key player on that team. He's definitely figured out how to play a precise game.
Cody Trulio eating off the rush right here. Hex 6 on the back line, Misfits 5. They have 4 balls. Let's see if they can get a hit here. They're going to spend on Felton.
Ooh.
Don't get anything. Ketchum returns.
Yeah, and that transition scares me a little bit for Misfits. They weren't on their heels when Ketchum's throwing, which is not where you want to be.
Andrew Ketchum, big throw on John Bell.
There it is.
Oh, Jordan Williams with a great counter. Ketchum asking where the ball went because he couldn't make the grab.
Jordan Williams is a sneaky accurate player, and he knows how to put finishing movement on the ball. If you're trying to block, he's so good about getting it over your blocking ball with top spin. It's just, you wouldn't expect it to be so hard to block that guy at 60 feet, and he just does it over and over and over again.
Jordan Williams is one of those players that I look at and I'm like, you don't look like you can be able to do all of this. He has insane hops. His blocking is very, very good. He has great catching. His ball just has this nasty tail that just manages to always find you.
He's trying to turn it on. It looks like Misfits has decided to let Jordan kind of rip a few here, see if he can get some action going.
Definitely, I would be letting loose on this Misfits side if I'm me, especially because you're down 4 in this first half with 1:10 to go. And if it's going to be anybody, I would say Jordan Williams. If he gets a little bit of momentum with a big catch and a couple big hits here, this could really shift some things.
It was a really good attempt there by Gerard. I like that he was postured and committed to that catch, just not able to reel it in. Still 3 on 4 now, so Misfits isn't in trouble, but they need to make sure they're prioritizing defense.
John Bell gets tagged out. The core 3 of this Misfits squad, only 2 left. But both big arms and very, very good catchers here. Jordan Williams and Brandon Officer. No stranger to having to be clutch.
Jordan kind of feeling him out there. That may not have been like a real aggressive attempt, but trying to figure out what Aaron's doing over in his corner.
Cody Trulio, very fast throw.
Good shift from Brandon there to move his feet. Wasn't planted, so he was able to shuffle at the last second and get away from that throw, even though it was a very good throw.
Brandon is such a big guy who has fantastic movement, beautiful pre-throw. Pushes hard on Parkey, and it's a hit.
Oh, wow.
Brings it to a 2v2. Dan Holzer calls for a double on Officer, and it connects.
Felton coming up with a big hit when Hex needs it.
Brandon Officer is one of those players who doesn't wear knee pads and never goes to the ground, really, but he manages to survive so well.
Yeah.
As someone who doesn't wear knee pads, I'm like, even I go to the ground. Like, his lateral movement is just so good, especially when he's throwing, as you said earlier.
And he works hard at that.
Jordan Williams with the double dodge. Felton a little squirrely on the ground there.
Exceptional placement there from Jordan. He got that just wide and low of Felton's legs. That's really the only safe spot you can put it with that guy, because he'll get under it if you put it too square.
Holzer misses the counter on Jordan Williams. Let's see if Hex are going to try to catch Williams on the backtrack here. No, they're just going to throw a counter at the line.
Jordan prepared for that catching opportunity, too. Ooh, oh, boy.
Looking for it. Oh, good movement. For a second, reminding me of Josh Eustace with the little quick back step right there.
Yeah, I like the second shift there, creating an opportunity for the second catch. Just they placed it well. Misfits has some thinking to do here. They got a moment to recalculate their plan. Hex is coming out strong, and they're maintaining composure. I think Misfits needs to do something to disrupt what Hex is doing. But that's easier said than done. You got any ideas?
Easier said than done. They've gotten to a bunch of closing scenarios with their core players. They really need to grind on finishing those sets out.
Mm-hmm.
Some split decisions to go for catches here and there might not be working in this first half. Let's see if they try to change what's going on there. Definitely good job on their priority targets. For example, they're really going after Ketchum, and I think every single team that comes up against Hex are going to be gunning for the big man in the left corner in front of me right here.
Yep. Hex is feeling good, and for good reason. They're up 5 right now against a team that's caused a lot of problems for other teams today. I'm curious to see how this opening rush goes. That could be one of the sources for Misfit to get ahead. It comes down to speed. That's just the nature of the rush. You got to be faster, and Hex is not slow.
Honestly, if I'm Misfits, I'm really going to be trying to play defensively off the rush. You have a D1 athlete here, in Aaron Goodwin, who's just so fast off the rush. I think fastest in the continent. I don't believe there are many people who are faster off the rush than him. And him pitching to Cody Trulio with a quick release, throwing at, I believe, 78 miles per hour as he was clocked in Tucson.
Look at that
absolutely
takeoff.
Deadly, but he just absolutely misses everybody on that one.
If I had to guess, Goodwin's a sprinter or no?
You know what? You asked me this, I wouldn't be surprised, whatever he is, because his hops are insane. His explosiveness is off the charts, and this, you know what? I think he is, because he definitely looks like he has the technique.
Ooh, that drop from Ketchum. I mean, look at him go off of that rush there. He just loaded up with so much force before actually taking off from the line. That's impressive.
Ketchum using that elite throw arsenal again, this time hitting a shagger in the back.
I love that he's throwing that kind of curve. I really think people need to do more of this in dodgeball. It's so great.
Single on Cody Trulio. He's going to jump and gets caught on the way down. He bit a little bit too hard on the pumps. Aaron Goodwin, good throw in the middle. Ketchum, good block. Draws in another ball, gets super low.
That's the discipline that Misfits needs to clean up. I know it's juicy looking at Ketchum on that side, but Hex knows that. That's what they're waiting for you to do, is to target Ketchum in the transition and the trade, because they're just going to counter back as you're throwing.
You'd think that Ketchum is a really easy player to hit in transition because of how big he is, but he gets surprisingly low and surprisingly small behind the ball that he has in his hand. So I think it's better to throw at him on the back line or try to draw in balls as Jordan Williams did, but getting taken out in the process. Hex with 5 on the back line, what can they do? Gage with the last ball, being a pest. They're going to throw a Ketchum one, and the other goes on Parkey. In those 5-ball scenarios, you really have to choose your targets well.
I thought that bounced. It was close. Ref's call.
All 6 balls here for Misfits.
Honestly, the clock is working against Misfits right now. It may have been fortunate for that to be an out, just to save some time on the clock. They need to come back 5 games, and if they lose this one, 6, but they only have 17 minutes left.
And Andrew Ketchum with the rundown so fast. Definitely helps that he has long legs. Only 3 strides till he's at the line.
I like that Gerard accelerated the pace of that and gave his team time. It's not bad to play it out like that. It's just you got to do something. You got to commit to something to end the game one way or the other. If he gets a catch, roll with it. If not, end the game and move on to the next one.
Misfits still have an opportunity to come back. As we saw, Sane Elite and Outsiders, comebacks are possible late in the game here. Lots of throws here. John Bell takes out Cam Parkey. Misfits are up in player numbers.
Accepting some chaos there. I don't know if that's a bad strategy.
Ketchum
praying.
accepting that he might be hit here, and he gets hit. Gets a little dramatic. Let's get 3 big booms for Misfits for hitting Ketchum. Boom, boom, boom. If you get that reference to the Tucson round, I hope Ketchum watches this back.
He did get under it. Give him some credit.
Gage Young manages to survive a double here. They have 4 balls to play with. Into the ground. Brandon Officer pushing hard to the line. As expected. Misfits need something here. Gage Young surviving. Surviving really well.
Hex are pretty aggressive off the back line. I like that they're willing to push back. They have the advantage, so there's really no reason not to.
John Bell with a catch on Holzer, saying you are not the only person who's going to catch in this game. And
Brandon's up on the line again.
Getting his get back.
Interesting for Gage to come to the center court. I like the mix-up.
Aaron Young and Gage, both left, both really good players in terms of survivability. Gage Young gets called out here. Aaron Young is by himself here. Can the Atlanta native do some work for Hex in killing time? Insane hops, but can't get out of the way of the second one. Yeah. Someone tell this man to drop the leg routine. I need that. It's up in 9 feet in the air.
He might not just be a sprinter. I don't know. That was some leap right there.
Long jump, high jump, jump. I don't know what competitions this guy does, but if he could jump over Ketchum, he's
I'm glad he's using it for dodgeball.
So fast. Cody Trulio. Oh, it does connect. I thought he missed off the rush again.
Just clipped Vincent on the outside.
Oh, Ketchum with the double. Jordan, jeez. Big hops on both ends.
Heartbreaking.
It's 7-2 in the final here.
Misfits wants pace and control, but Hex is just getting ahead and holding on to it.
Triple on Ketchum. He's gonna jump like a little ballerina. Not exactly little, but gets tagged out on a triple. I think that's the right choice from Misfits here. John Bell survives too. And again, the core of Misfits are here again. As we saw earlier, they can get the numbers down and get it to a 2v2 or even a 1v1. But it's really in those situations where they have trouble closing.
One of our receivers leaping and grabbing the ball out of the air with one hand, getting it inbounds before he's even on the ground.
Ian Randall, Toronto native. Lots of throws exchanged here. Only Aaron Goodwin taken out.
So who's standing out to you on Hex right now? We saw some big plays from Dan Holzer early.
I definitely have to say Andrew Ketchum is obviously going to get my shout for MVP in this match so far.
He's carrying a lot of the work, and it's not to take anything away from anybody else. He's putting it in, and the team is carrying the games through when Ketchum does get out. But he's getting a couple hits before he goes out, and that is significant.
Lots of throws here. Brendan Officer against his own USA teammate here. Can he do it? Gage Young is left. Big swinging ball. These players know each other really well. They've been on the U.S. national team together. Brandon pushing really high against defensive Gage, who takes Brandon out. Wow.
Bold.
Speaking of my MVP on Hex, honestly, the other one for me is going to be Aaron. Because he's been so fast off the rush that Cody Trulio has just been able to take an extra player out right away. Starting a game, one person down is so difficult. And very, very, I think a little bit underrated and like maybe not thought about a lot, but you know, I could be wrong. Cody, again, was off the rush. But
I think that's a good recognition. That rush has really been a problem for Misfits. You're right. Having to play down early in a set consistently, it makes it really hard to play against a team like Hex. When they're ahead, they just get to run away with it.
Andrew Ketchum running off to the side. He looks happy. He took out Jordan Williams. It's a good trade because he does have a solid team with him.
What about on the Misfits side? We've seen a lot of work from a lot of different players so far. I would say Jordan's probably my first pick. He's been consistent on his corner, been playing defense and offense, doing his best to survive against a very tough matchup on that corner with Ketchum.
Definitely Jordan Williams will be one of mine. And I think the other one has to go to John Bell, in my opinion. He's been very, very instrumental to getting the numbers down when that core three are still on the court. And he's just been a very, very solid player. Exactly, right there. Doesn't have the quickest throw, but his placement is just elite. Being able to take out these very, very hard to hit targets in situations like we just saw with Aaron.
Yep. And he's been in for the long haul for most of these games as well. I think it's easy to underestimate how much John Bell does on that side of the court. He did throw a couple catches in there, but I wouldn't say they were bad plays. It was just, you know, good players that you're playing against.
Especially against Dan Holzer in that 3v1. Like, everybody on the court. I think it was Felton, Holzer, and Parkey who were on the court. All of them can catch. It's not a bad throw. Holzer didn't have a ball. He skied that one. Holzer didn't have a ball, but, you know, it was a good take. Bad spot, right in the pocket.
We've got about 11 minutes left here, so we'll see if anyone else stands out on the Misfits side.
Dan Holzer gets under the ball. Hex are going to have 4. Let's see who they go for. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for John Bell. Can he survive? No, they go for the corner here.
Good to get up and over that first ball, but the trailing ball was well timed.
1, 2, 3.
One ball spent on the Misfits side. Again, 3 elite catchers here. I believe, all have been on a national team or practice squad. Pete Decker, referee, calls out.
Holzer calling a player back in. I appreciate the sportsmanship of that. Ref's trying to make a call. Sometimes things look like it was a clear hit, and it's not, and the thrower actually has a better angle on that sort of thing. Your eyes can be tricked. We don't like to believe it, but it happens often.
Eyes can be tricked here. That's the very tough thing about reffing dodgeball. And, and while a lot of people say legalize finger blocks, but
John looking for a catch there. Almost got it, and Gerard answers with a counter. So now a 2-on-1. Gerard's been here many times in this match.
again, Misfits getting the numbers down, but they can't close.
That seems to be their struggle. It's getting ahead of Hex is a challenge. They are so fast off the rush. They are so full of weapons when they have 6 men on the court. To get ahead of that, you almost have to make a catch when someone's trying to blast you with that kind of lineup in front of you. You don't want to have to extend for that, but that may be the answer they need to turn things around here. They're running out of time. We're now under 10 minutes, and they're down 7.
Misfits definitely good at bringing the numbers down to a 2v2 and 1v1 scenario, but it's the extra dodgeability and the big arms on Hex that are able to close out these sets. It's the depth here is insane on this Hex side.
Yeah.
This showing, I think, is very, very solid for Misfits, and it really shows why they deserve to be in this final. But Hex have just been able to edge them out on the closing game.
And it really is impressive. I haven't seen this combination of players on Hex before. I know some of them have played with each other. I don't know if this is a kind of a fresh mix for this tournament, but their teamwork is honestly exceptional. They're using their abilities as throwers very effectively as a team. It's not just taking solo shots, it's pressuring and using that pressure to create opportunities. And when you're that good at throwing and you create opportunities, that's
the hits
just
will come.
1, 2, 3. It just keeps happening.
I am aware that Cody Trulio is a new player on this squad for this season, both for international play like this tournament and for the Premier Tour circuit. Had the pleasure of joining them for the round in Tucson, and I'll be joining them at Nationals.
Fun. Are you planning on making any other stops on the U.S. circuit?
In Cleveland, I'll be playing the Grizzlies and
Nice.
Outsiders in Minneapolis. Those are my only other stops.
You're living the dream, man.
I'm playing with everybody. I'm getting around.
That's the best way to learn the game. And, I mean, you're an exceptional player, so it's got to be fun to mix it up with that many talented players and talented teams.
Thank
just
you.
to absorb all that knowledge. You're going to be a force in no time.
Of course. Like, I'm just happy to get to know all these great players and make some new friends.
The community's amazing, man.
That's a great thing about Dodgeball here. Holzer tagged out. Holzer is definitely a community man. He plays around a lot. Plays in a lot of different teams. I don't remember. I think he played with Flight for U.S. Nationals recently.
It's another team I've been hearing a lot about lately.
Yes, definitely on the come up. They did win the no sting division in Tucson, so maybe they're a no sting team now.
Okay. I'll come give them some competition sometime. We play no sting in Portland.
I don't know. Can you beat the no sting god Bo?
I don't know if we've actually squared off. I know Bo's name. He's a talented player. I can't remember the last time I played. I guess it was Kansas City a couple years ago. I can't remember if I got a match up against him.
Wow, big curve from Ketchum here on Jordan Williams. Returned by Officer and Williams. Andrew Ketchum is going to spend a ball there, even though Hex did have 5.
Yeah, well-placed shot. Still using that curve.
Andrew straight into the ground. Not used to seeing that from him. Tapping his hands, looks like maybe the ball slipped.
Yeah, it looks like he may have been on his back heel a little bit. Sometimes your stance can affect your throw when you're not expecting it.
Great placement by Ketchum on John Bell. Jordan Williams almost tags out Felton. Cam Parkey's tagged out by Officer. There we go! Grabbed by Jordan Williams. The amount of times I've seen Jordan Williams make grabs like that, I've lost count at this point.
Misfits playing for pride.
And Misfits bring it back. They are down 9-3. They get the point here.
Making me proud, Vincent. I like to see a player willing to take that shot in this situation. It's a lot of pressure, and I mean, Ketchum is one of those players that's so hard to hit in that sequence of throwing and dodging and all of that. He thrives in that space and gets a lot of catches out of it, actually. And Vincent, unafraid, willing to take that shot and gets the hit.
If you get, Cody caught at the line after a little bit of mishap on the rush here. Cam Parkey tagged out. Once you get over being intimidated by Andrew Ketchum, it's not as difficult as you think playing against him as someone who's had to line up with him at this tournament.
Oh, boy.
2 Officer and John Bell taken out. Ketchum, very intimidating, but once you get past that throw and get a little bit over the mental blockage of wanting to take a rip at someone who you know can take your head off with a ball, probably literally, makes your life a little bit easier. Oh, good curveball, but it just sticks to Goodwin. What a grab, but I don't even think he meant to do that.
Misfits is fighting fate at this point. It looks like it's the cards are for Hex. They got ahead early, and they're looking good all the way through this set. Oh, man.
Misfits wishing that ball had Misfit in the hands of Aaron Goodwin, so he didn't make that grab. But
both teams at the point of just letting it fly for the most part.
We love dodgeball punts here. Cody Trulio caught on the backtrack, trying to jump over it.
It's fun to watch players play this way because it brings out a tenacity, I would say, that changes the way the throws go.
Oh, Ketchum, good hit on.
Look at this, the precision.
Again, Misfits back in this 2v2 situation that they've been very familiar with throughout this game. But are they going to close against two very athletic, very dodgy players on Hex's back line, Aaron Goodwin and Gage Young?
Explosive off the back line there for Misfits. I like that charge. Patient enough to wait for the right opportunity to throw that ball. Let Goodwin go to the back line, try to put a curve and cross on him. It's good to get low and get under and away from it. Showing his athleticism in another way.
Aaron Goodwin, big hops, able to get over both.
That good dude could jump right over me. I'm 5'5", and he's just like, yeah, you're down there now.
5'5", and it's like, yeah, I do that with 1 foot.
Look at that.
Oh, what a grab! What a grab on his side against Gage Young. Brings Officer back in. 5 minutes left, but Misfits are still playing with a point. Oh my God, what a close.
Misfits playing with some pride here. They still got time on the clock.
Speaking of Misfits and great moments here, we have your VC's MVP player of the match. Got 4 options. 2 from each side. I don't know about you, but mine's definitely Ketchum. Hex have a much tougher match if Ketchum isn't on the court.
It's hard to make an argument against Ketchum. I wouldn't disagree at all. And I think Hex has carried the rest of the load very well as a team. It's impressive to see.
Looks like there was a false start there. The first one of the half for this Misfits side. Cody Trulio misses off the rush again. Big hops here from a lot of players. Ketchum is going to spend. We only have 4 minutes left in this game. You know, it is possible to win 4 sets in 4 minutes, but I don't think it's likely. I think we have our new. Oh, maybe something's coming. John Bell with the catch.
Gage Young reeling this team in. He recognizes that things are getting a little out of control.
That's the leadership you want to see from a Team USA player here. Someone who knows what they're doing. Oh, last ball not well spent on the Misfits side.
Especially playing the corner. That's really the players that need to be keen about when to stop and when to go.
If you look at, into the pocket of Officer, who's going to take Holzer with him. It is a 2v5. Wow. Misfits really proving that Hex aren't going to win this game easily. Cody falls out of the court.
Sounds like the chat might disagree with our nominations. It's tough out here, guys. They're freaking good.
Who did they nominate?
They're nominating Dan Holzer off of that early start, I imagine. And I really can't disagree. He was in the back of my head, but man, Goodwin's a monster athlete. Ketchum has been doing so much. I wouldn't say Holzer was behind him. I mean, he was in that conversation, no doubt.
Definitely in that conversation for his contributions in the first half. But when I'm looking at this game, I just think Aaron's impact off the rush, handing the ball off to Cody Trulio. This is what I'm saying. I said this earlier, that starting a game up 6-5 is just so underrated. It doesn't matter who is on the court or off the court for Misfits. When that happens, it's just when you know you're being dominated off the rush like that, it's a mental thing, and you have one less body, one less player that can, I don't want to say tank a hit, but one less player on the court.
And we're talking about value, right? Most valuable player. I'm not saying those catches aren't valuable. I think they're harder to come by, So it's difficult to be consistent. And I think that's the slight difference there, is that the rush is always there. It's the start of the game, and they've held on to it basically through every game they've played. Those catches came early. They were incredible catches, but maintaining consistency with that throughout an entire match is a feat. And he wasn't quite able to keep reeling them in. But yeah, incredible play by Dan Holzer for sure.
John Bell rushes the line, survives point blank. Felton able to get out of the way. Again, Misfits in a closing scenario here, this time with 5 bodies on their side, but they're spending a little bit more than I think I would, even though that the minutes are dwindling down a bit.
Yep, 2.5 left here.
2.5. You need 2 balls on probably both of these targets. Felton known for making clutch grabs. And Cody also known for making clutch grabs. And he's just both of these guys are monster defensive players.
Jacob Struzek almost hit me through the net. I'm like 3 feet, 4 feet behind it, and I had to dodge. This is nuts.
Hey, I got knocked out earlier. I don't want to be playing. Oh, my God! Jordan Williams on his side, diving catch. He didn't even have to do that. Jordan's doing too much. Stop this man. Who is this guy? Jordan Williams. Wow, I'm happy that I voted him for MVP.
Right, playing for the pride. Jordan's an incredible player, and it's stuff like that that makes the difference, man.
You know, there's only one other person who I see just dive across the court like that and actually able to make that catch, and it's Elijah Hashimoto. That's that's impressive, man. John Bell in the face, catches Felton. All hands. Misfits really proving that they are competition here. Wow.
The dragon grabs one with his teeth. That was nasty.
Misfits, there's only a minute left in this match, but Misfits put up an amazing fight. I think this was a very, very great game for both sides. Misfits definitely proving that chemistry is so important in these tournaments. They made it far, and they're coming out with some silverware. Oh, catch him!
Yep, don't take your eye off catching in this last game.
Heat-seeking
attention.
ball right there. Oh, catch him. Oh. Pops it up. Oh, but he doesn't get the grab. He falls out. Almost takes shutout in the process.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a little-known rule, but when a ball actually crosses the center line in the air, it's dead as soon as it crosses that plane. So even if he had been able to collect that, I don't think it would have been valid. It's hard to tell from my angle if it actually crossed the center line. But great attempt.
I didn't even know that was a rule. Oh, Dan Holzer with a little curveball. Last time he threw that, it went a little high, but Jordan Williams not happy with himself.
Yep.
Knows he could have made that grab. We saw it a couple times in this game.
Yeah, you heard the thump. It was a great throw from Trio.
10 seconds left in this match. Congratulations to Hex.
Oh.
They are the 2025 King Dodgeball champions of North America.
Give him some credit. Hex had quite a run through this tournament. They came out the gate in round robin swinging, and they had a high seed for that reason. They didn't make it into the top 4, but here they are, champions of the tournament. The competition out here has been unreal. You can't take anything away from Hex at this thing. They earned it. Misfits had some great matches earlier in the day. I got to watch them beat Hard as Foam, one of the top teams out of BC. Getting any win at this tournament is hard-earned. So what we've seen from these teams today has been nothing short of exceptional. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be able to talk to you guys and watch this unfold. We got an interview coming right now with Nick Dachenko and our MVP, Goodwin.
What's up, guys? What's up, Dodgeball.live? I am standing next to the men's final MVP, Aaron Goodwin. How do you feel, man, coming all the way from Atlanta to win the biggest competition on the continent? That must feel amazing.
It's unbelievable, man. The talent at this tournament, this is the best of the best. This is as good as it gets, man. The best in Canada, the best in North America. I don't know, it's incredible. We did it the right way. We beat the 3-time defending champions to get here. It wasn't easy at all, but I just want to say thanks to Andrew and Cam Parkey and the Hex guys for bringing me out here, man. It's incredible, man. There was a lot of good competition, but the whole mantra for the entire weekend was just it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. We trusted each other, trusted our teammates. We played good team ball. We spread the ball around. Everyone had one game where they were just unbelievably incredible to hit and hitting all their shots. So it feels great. It's unbelievable. And I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful for this environment, man. I love dodgeball, and it's incredible. Like I said, this is as good as it gets in North America, so I'm elated.
So, You came all the way out from Atlanta to play with a bunch of boys you've never, have you played with the Hex before?
Played with a single human being on this team.
Well, like, what do you think was the process coming into this tournament and really trying to flow with a new team and a new group of guys that you've never shared the court with before?
Yeah, usually you see a lot of teams struggle to gel with players that they pick up, and this, you can see the team we put together, man. This is not the normal Hex team. We picked up a good group of guys to get here, but yeah, like I said before, just trusting each other and communication, and again, like I said, the mantra all weekend was this is all going to work out, so communicate through everything, trust your team, and take it one moment at a time.
All right, well, you came from Atlanta. Any shout-outs from your hometown?
Oh, I got a few. Is that okay?
Of course.
Shout out Chris and Sean Wheeler, my dodgeball idols. I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for them. Shoto Barbo for just being an absolute gangster and helping me through this process. Pierce McKenna, Perry Hull, Cloud, all the Atlanta guys, man. I love you guys so much, and this really is for them. I wouldn't be here without Atlanta, and I'm excited to take a gold medal back to Atlanta, man. A gold medal from the Thing to Atlanta. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Congratulations on your gold medal, and for you at Dodgeball.live, thank you for tuning in to the Thing Dodgeball Champions, biggest tournament on the continent. Enjoy your gold medal, man.